Gentlemen, you are the cream of the world's air forces. This country desperately needs your help. 6 months ago, an extremely well-armed and organized terrorist force carried out a coup d'etat. Attempts to free our country have been foiled by repeated surprise attacks. To avoid escalating this war and causing unacceptable civilian losses, we wish to employ your services. Surgical airstrikes and the elimination of enemy air superiority will tip the scales in our favor. You will receive remuneration commensurate with your positions as the premier top guns of the world. This is an evaluation of your operational abilities. Intelligence reports an enemy supply unit moving to resupply their forward position. You should have the advantage of surprise. We should have localized air superiority for the duration of the operation. Target, C5A supply unit.
Ready? Break now! Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yahoo! Don't on our left! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target! Fire! Shoot it down! Bogey on our 6! Enemy target located! Take off! On our right! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Let's return to position, buddy! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Great shot! Don't let him get away! Shoot him away! Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yahoo! Blew him away. Stay with Bingo! Yahoo! Back one! Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Great shot! Don't back one! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yahoo! Fire! Oh! Stay with him. Great shot! Back one! Mission accomplished.
Immediate mobilization required. Our base's position was compromised in the last enemy push. Reports indicate imminent arrival of bombers. Scramble and ace those bogies. Target, B-52 Bomber Force.
Ready? Break now! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Focus on our 6. On our left! Up ahead! Fire! Shoot on our right! Focus on our 6. Here! Out! Up ahead! Focus on our 6. Up ahead! Fire! Shoot down! Bingo! Woohoo! Back one! Enemy targets located. Up ahead! Enemy in sight. On our left! Focus on our 6. On our left! Enemy in... On our right! Focus on our 6. Jesus, miss! Take off! Jesus, miss! Focus on our 6. Fire! Shoot it! Bingo! Woohoo! Take off! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Great shot! Wait! On our left! Focus on our 6. Enemy in... On our right! Enemy focus on our 6. On our left! Focus on our 6. Back one! Focus on our tail! Take off! On our right! Enemy in sight. Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Fire! Here! Out! Take him away! Focus on our tail! On our right! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Woohoo! Here! Out! Mission accomplished.
AWACS reports an enemy incursion in our sector. We are diverting you from local air support to forward operations. Neutralize the approaching units. Target enemy attacking force. Formation makeup is unknown. Expect enemy fighter support and a tough dogfight. Good luck.
Ready? Break now! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive! Dive! Enemy up ahead! Take off! On our left! On our left! Up ahead! On our right! Focus on our 6. Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Fire! Down! Here! Out! Focus on our 6. Enemy in sight. Up ahead! On our left! Focus on our 6. Enemy in sight. Take off! Jesus, miss! Stay with him. Don't let him get away. Great shot! Stay with him. Back one. Focus on our tail. Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Up ahead! Stay with him. Bogey on our 6. Don't let him see you. Wait! On our left! Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. On our left! Bogey on our 6. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Take off! On our left! Up ahead! Locked on target. Fire! Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our 6. On our left. Bogey on our 6. Fire! Shoot it down! Enemy target. Take off! Enemy target located. I'm losing him. Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Toast! Mission accomplished.
Up to now, our offensive missions have been constrained by the presence of civilians in Donut City. A recent evacuation of that city permits us to engage hard targets within the city perimeter. Target 1, Computer Communications Center. Target 2, Enemy Headquarters Building. Night conditions should neutralize enemy ground fire. However, the city has at least 3 interceptors available. We have no intelligence on force composition. From now on, you will have a wingman assigned to you. Inform him of the operation before departure.
Ready? Break now! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Great shot! Enemy in sight. Bogey at 12 o'clock. Bogey at 12 o'clock. Bogey on our tail. Bogey on our 6. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yeah! Altitude too low. Fly! Enemy target located. Enemy target located. Enemy target located. Great shot! Enemy locked on target.
Body counting. Alert, body counting. Alert, body
Enemy target
counting.
located.
Alert, body
Enemy locked
counting.
on Bogey on our
Alert,
6.
body counting.
Bogey on our tail. On our left. Enemy target located. Up ahead. On our left. Up ahead. On our right. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! They blew him away! Jesus, miss! locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy target located. On our left. Enemy locked on target.
Caution!
Shot!
Caution!
Up ahead! On our right! Enemy in sight. Up ahead! Fire! Shoot him down! Blew him away! Bogey on our 6. Enemy target located. Enemy target located. Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Take off! Enemy locked on. Bogey on our tail! Great shot! On our right! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Wasted! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. On our right. Great shot! Enemy in sight. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. On our right. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Up ahead. Stay with him. Great shot! Don't let him get away. On our right. Bogey on our 6. Wingman has been hit. On our right. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. Stay with him. Jesus, miss. On our left. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. Fire. Shoot it down. Back one. Enemy target located. On our left. Up ahead. Bogey on our 6. On our right. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him. Don't let him get away. Enemy. Jesus, miss! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Back one! Jesus, miss! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target.
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Bingo!
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Great shot! Great shot! Mission accomplished.
Reconnaissance indicates a weak link in their fuel supply infrastructure. A single pipeline transfers all crude oil from their fields to their refinery. Strike both the pipeline and the refinery. Target: oil refinery plant and oil field. Use the pipeline as a reference to the refinery. Locate and destroy.
Ready? Break now! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Locate 12 o'clock. Great shot! On our right. Focus on our 6. Bingo! Yahoo! Take off! On our right! Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down!
Warning.
Focus on our 6. On our right! Enemy in sight.
Warning.
Focus on our 6. Enemy in sight. Up ahead! Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him.
Warning. Warning.
Don't let him get away.
Warning.
Locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive! Dive! Don't let him. Up ahead! Stay with him. Take off! Focus on our tail! On our right! Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Focus on our 6. Enemy in sight. On our left! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him. Don't let him get away! Wasted! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! Great shot! Let's return to mission, buddy! Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Look at that one! Focus on our 6. Take off! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! On our left! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Back one! Enemy in sight. Bingo! Yahoo!
Alert body damage. Alert body damage. Alert body damage. Alert body damage. Alert body damage.
Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target.
Alert body damage. Alert body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Let's return to mission, buddy. Enemy in sight. Enemy targets located. Enemy locked on target. Bogey at 12 o'clock. Altitude too low. Flying. On our right. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. Bogey on our 6. On our right. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. Fire. Shoot it down. We're back one. Bogey on our 6. On our left. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. Stay with him. We're back one. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! Let's return to mission, buddy. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yeah! Oh, fine. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yeah! Enemy target located. Bogey at 12 o'clock. Bogey on altitude too low. Flying. Take off. Enemy target located. Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Wait! On our left! Bogey on our 6. On our left! Let's return to mission, buddy! Enemy in sight. Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him. Jesus, miss! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus, miss! Don't let him get away! Jesus, miss! Stay with him. Don't let him get away! Stay with him. Jesus, miss! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus, miss! Jesus, miss! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him. Jesus, miss! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus, miss! Don't let him get away! Stay with him! Jesus, miss! Don't let him get away! Stay with him! Jesus, miss! Jesus, miss! On our left! Enemy in sight! Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him! Get away! Enemy locked on target! Bingo! Yahoo! Mission accomplished!
The enemy has proved to have significant resources. This war of attrition is not to our advantage. We are now targeting key infrastructure sites. Target: resources mining system and production plant. Intelligence reports stealth fighters operating in this theater. Remember, their lack of radar signature makes visual sighting essential.
Ready? Break now! Enemy targets located. Enemy locked on target. Fire!
Alert, body damage.
Focus on our six.
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
On our left.
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him. Don't let him get away. Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Here! Out! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Enemy in bingo! Yahoo!
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Enemy bingo! Yahoo! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! Altitude too low. Fine. Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Enemy locked on close at 12 o'clock. Focus on our 6. Enemy targets located. Enemy targets located. Enemy locked on target. Team up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! On our left! Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. Take off! Bingo! Yahoo! Jesus, miss! Don't let him get away. Enemy targets located. Enemy targets located. Enemy targets located. Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire!
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy in
Alert,
sight.
body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy locked on target. Enemy locked on. Bingo! Yahoo! Let's return to mission, buddy. Enemy in sight. Enemy targets located. On our right. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Up ahead. Enemy locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive. Dive. Up ahead. Fire. Shoot it down. Enemy in sight. On our left. Bogey on our tail. Fire! Up ahead! Enemy targets located. On our right. Enemy in sight. Up ahead! On our left. Bogey on our 6. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Up ahead! Take off! Blew him away! Enemy in sight. Enemy targets located. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! They blew him away! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy in sight. Locked on target. Great shot! Altitude too low. Flying.
Caution.
Enemy in sight. Enemy locked. Great shot! Mission accomplished.
The enemy's ADCRS, Air Defense Command and Radar System, has been identified. We can expect a steep drop in enemy effectiveness if this site is destroyed. The enemy has an effective SAM kill zone around the target. Its one weak point is a narrow ravine leading to the base. This requires precision, nap of the earth flying. Target, enemy radar site. You have no effective countermeasures to this model of SAM. Exit the ravine and you are toast.
Ready? Break now! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Wasted! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Post! Enemy in... Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Shoot him away! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Post! Enemy in... Up ahead! Altitude too low! Fire! Missile approaching! Dive! Dive! Focus on our tail! Enemy in sight! Low, fly!
Caution. Low altitude.
Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! Mission accomplished.
Regaining Donetsk City is a prime strategic consideration for the enemy. To forestall offensive operations, we will strike their staging area. Target, staging facilities and B-1 bombers. Our goal is to hit them just before their incursion begins.
Ready? Break now! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Wait! On our left! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him down! Stay with him! Don't let him get away! Stay with him! Don't let him get away! Shot! Stay with him! Post! Enemy targets located!
Warning.
Enemy locked on us!
Warning.
Missile approaching! Dive! Dive! Up ahead! On our left! Bogey on our 6. On our left. Bogey at 12 o'clock. On our left. Bogey on our 6. Up ahead. And take off. Jesus, miss. Don't let him get away. Blew him away. Enemy in sight. On our right. Fire up ahead. Bogey on our tail. Bogey on our 6. target. Fire! Wasted! They went and blew him away! Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Great shot! Enemy target located. Bogey on our 6. Enemy target located. Up ahead! Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him. Bogey on our 6. Don't let him get away. Jesus, miss! Take off! Bogey on our tail! On our right!
Warning.
Bogey on our 6. On our right! Up ahead! On our right! Let's return to mission up ahead! Enemy in sight! Enemy in sight! No! Pull out of it!
Engine stalled.
Enemy in sight! Enemy in sight! Enemy locked on target! Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy in sight! Enemy in sight! Enemy locked on target! Great shot! Great shot! Enemy in sight! Enemy in sight! Enemy locked on target! Bingo! Yahoo! Mission accomplished!
Naval Intelligence report a transport heading to Nawikot Bay. Since it may be a troop transport, we need to sink it before it docks. Follow up with destruction of the island port facilities. The opposition is expected to consist of an enemy fighter wing of unknown composition and patrolling Aegis warships. The Aegis missile system is highly effective. Eliminate the warships quickly.
Ready? Break now! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Bogey on our 6. On our right! Bogey on our 6. Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yahoo! Back one! On our right! Up ahead! Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus! Miss! On our right! Bogey on our 6. Up ahead. Take off. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. Shoot him away. Enemy targets located. Enemy targets located. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive. Dive. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Great shot! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Great shot! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Enemy. Great shot! Great shot! Altitude too low. Fly! Enemy locked on target. Great shot! Enemy in sight. Enemy targets located. Enemy locked on target.
Halted.
Great shot!
Halted. Alert,
Focus on
body
our
damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body
Enemy
damage.
targets take off.
Alert, body
On our
damage.
right.
Alert, body damage.
Up ahead. Both at 12 o'clock.
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert,
On our
body
left.
damage.
Bogey on our 6. Enemy targets located. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. Shoot him away. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! Mission accomplished.
Your mercenary unit has proved its reliability. We request you aid in the extraction of one of our officers from the enemy mountain fortress. We can only send one unit without alerting the opposition. Target: cripple enemy air defense and land on their runway. Only you have the requisite skills. You will be paid handsomely.
Ready? Right now! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Bogey on our
Body
6.
damage. Alert, body damage.
On our
Alert,
left.
body damage. Alert, body
Up ahead.
damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Go!
Caution.
Pull out of it!
Engine stall.
On our right! On our right! Up ahead! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yeah! Wasted! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him away! On our right! On the head! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Pull out of it! On our left! On the head! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus, miss! Don't let him Jesus, miss! Stay with him! Bingo! Yahoo! Wasted! Let's return to mission, buddy! Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! On our right! Up ahead! On our left! Bogey on our 6. Up ahead! Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yahoo! Don't let him get away. Back one! On our left! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Shoot him away!
The captured port has become a key resupply facility for our forces. We cannot allow the enemy to cripple or recapture it. Current intelligence suggests the enemy is preparing a bombing raid utilizing stealth bombers. Even one can devastate the facility. Keep alert. Target, stealth bomber wing.
Ready? Break now! Enemy locked on target. Fire! On our right!
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert,
on our
body
6.
damage.
Bogey on
Alert,
our
body
tail.
damage.
Enemy
Alert,
locked on
body
us.
damage.
Missile approaching. Dive! Dive! Toast! Take off! Enemy in sight. Up ahead! Bogey on our 6. Fire! Up ahead! Take off! Up ahead! On our left! locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Here! Enemy targets located. Enemy targets located. Enemy in sight. Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Back one! On our left! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Woohoo! Don't let him get away. Wasted! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Woohoo! Enemy locked. Wasted! Here! Oh! Mission accomplished.
The enemy is committing its huge mothership to this theater. They are growing desperate. Eliminate the mothership and their naval mobility is crippled. There are no reference points on the ocean. Pay attention to the operational map. Target mothership.
Ready? Break now! Enemy targets located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Bingo! Focus on our 6. Enemy in sight. On our left! Focus on our 6.
Warning! Warning!
Focus on our 6. Up ahead! West wing turn! Take off! On our left!
Warning!
Up ahead! On our left! Focus on our 6. Fire! Up ahead! Move, take off! Enemy in sight. Up ahead! Quick shot! Focus on our tail! Enemy in sight. Up ahead! Focus on our 6. On our left! Fire! Shoot, take off! Stay with him. Up ahead! Don't let him get away. Jesus, miss! Stay with him. Jesus, miss! Don't let him get away. Focus on our 6. On our left. Enemy in sight. Up ahead. On our left. Focus on our 6. Enemy locked on. Up ahead. Focus on our 6. Let's return the mission, buddy. Jesus, miss! Stay with him. Jesus, miss! Away. On our left. Up ahead. Fire. Shoot it down. Back one. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Woohoo! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Great shot! Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target.
Caution.
Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy in sight.
Caution.
Enemy locked on target.
Caution.
Bingo! Yeah!
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body
Enemy in
damage.
sight.
Alert, body damage.
Enemy locked on target.
Caution.
Shot! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target.
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. On our left. Bogey on our tail. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. Fire. Shoot it down. On our right. Up ahead. Don't let him get away. Great shot. Enemy in sight. Bogey on our 6. Up ahead. Enemy in bogey on our 6. Bingo! Yahoo! Take off. On our right. And up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire!
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target.
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy in sight. Great shot! Mission accomplished.
Despite the elimination of all fuel refineries, the enemy continues to conduct operations. You are assigned to recon for undetected fuel supplies. Even though this is just recon, engage and eliminate any opposition patrols. Good hunting.
Ready? Break now! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. On our left. Bogey on our 6. Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. On our left. Bogey on our 6. Stay with him. Take off. Go. Pull out of it.
Engine
Missile
stall.
approaching. Dive. Dive.
Caution.
Up ahead. Bogey on our our 6. Enemy in sight. Up ahead! Bingo! Yeah! Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. On our right. Bogey on our 6. On our right. Bogey on our 6. On our left. Take off. Fire. Up ahead. On our right. Enemy in sight.
Warning.
Locked on us. Missile approaching.
Caution.
Dive.
Alert, body
Fire.
damage.
Shoot it down.
Alert, body damage.
Enemy locked on target.
Alert,
Fire.
body
Bogey on our
damage.
6.
Alert, body damage.
Stay with him.
Alert,
Jesus,
body
miss.
damage.
Take off.
Warning.
Keep on our
Warning.
left. Enemy in sight. Up ahead. Bogey on our 6. Enemy locked on target. Up ahead. On our left. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Put it down. Bogey on our 6. Wait. On our left. Bogey on our 6. On our left. Up ahead. Bogey on our 6. Enemy up ahead. Take off. Stay with him. Don't let him get away. Wait, on our right. Jesus, miss. Bogey on our 6. On our right. Up ahead. On our right. Up ahead. Great shot. Jesus, miss. Blew him away. Mission accomplished.
Our recon work has identified the last fuel depot. Go and bomb it flat. Target: a group of fuel production bases. The enemy is using its top guns in this theater. Keep focused and good hunting.
Ready? Right now. Enemy in sight. Enemy target located.
Alert, body damage. Alert, body
On
damage.
our left.
Alert,
Bogey on
body
our 6.
damage. Alert, body
On our
damage.
left.
Alert, body damage.
Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. Enemy locked on target. Fire. Shoot it down. Up ahead. Jesus, miss. Wasted. Fire. Shoot it down. Stay with him. Blew him away. Enemy in sight. locked on. Enemy targets located. Bingo! Altitude too low. Flying. On our left. Moving on our tail. Enemy targets located. Enemy locked on target. Enemy targets located. Great shot! Enemy targets located. Let's return to mission, buddy. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down!
Body damage. Alert, body
Enemy
damage.
targets located.
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy in sight. Up ahead!
Alert, body damage.
Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Wasted! Enemy in sight. Enemy targets located. Bingo! Woohoo! Bogey on our 6. Great shot! Let's return on our right. Enemy in sight. Bogey on our 6. Locked on us. Visual approaching. Dive! Dive! On our right. Up ahead! Fire! Shoot it down! On our right! Up ahead! Enemy in sight! Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him! Jesus! Miss! Don't let him get away! Enemy in... Jesus! Miss! Stay with him! Great shot! Jesus, miss! Stay with him. Go back one. Enemy in sight. Locked on target. Bingo! Woohoo! Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Bogey at 12 o'clock. Bogey on our 6.
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Up ahead.
Alert, body damage.
Bogey on our 6. Take off! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus! Miss! Bogey on our tail! On our left! Bogey on our 6. Up ahead! Take off! Enemy target located. Up ahead!
One.
Locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive!
Alert,
Dive!
body damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
On our left!
Alert, body damage.
Up ahead! Stay with him. Bogey on our 6. Stay with him. Oh! Enemy targets located. Up ahead. Locked on us. Missile approaching. Dive! Dive! On our left! Up ahead! Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yahoo! Don't let him get away! He is wasted! Up ahead! Enemy locked on target! Fire! Shoot it down!
Alert, body damage. Alert, body
Move on our
damage.
tail!
Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
On our left!
Alert, body damage.
Up ahead! Fire! Shoot it down! Wasted! Enemy target located. located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Move! Enemy in sight. Enemy targets located. On our right. Up ahead. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on us.
Warning.
Missile approaching. Dive! Dive! Take off! Great shot! On our right! Enemy in... Up ahead!
Warning.
Enemy locked on us.
Warning.
Enemy
Warning.
targets located.
Warning.
Shoot him away! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo!
Alert. Body damage. Alert. Body damage.
Enemy in
Alert.
sight.
Body damage. Alert. Body damage. Alert. Body damage.
Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target.
Alert. Body damage. Alert. Body damage. Alert. Body damage. Alert. Body damage. Alert. Body
Enemy in
damage.
sight. Enemy locked on target. Great shot! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Great shot! Mission accomplished.
Our offensive operations are now concentrated on the Scorpion Island fortress. The base itself is a hard nut to crack, but we will isolate it by eliminating its bridge and central runway. Target: Red Suspension Bridge to the island and its Air Force base. There will be plenty of ACAC and SAM defenses around the runway. Go in for one pass, then break off operations.
Ready? Break now! Enemy in sight. Enemy targets located. Enemy locked on Tokyo at 12 o'clock. Tokyo on our 6. On our left. Enemy in sight. On our left. Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy in sight. Fire! Tokyo on our 6. Enemy targets located. On our right. Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Tokyo on our 6. On our left! Enemy targets located. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! On our left! Tokyo on our 6. On our left! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Jesus, miss! Don't let him get away! Get back one! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Great shot! Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bring back one! Bogey on our 6. On our left. Enemy target located. Up ahead! Fire! Shoot it down! Stay with him. Don't let him get away. Bingo! Yahoo! Don't let him get away. Stay with him. Wasted! Enemy in sight. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy locked on target.
Alert, body damage.
Oh, fine.
Alert, body damage. Alert,
Enemy
body
in sight.
damage. Alert, body damage. Alert, body damage.
Enemy locked on target.
Focus.
Great shot! Enemy locked on target.
Focus.
Enemy in sight.
Focus.
Bingo! Yahoo! Bogey on our 6. Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Bogey on our 6.
Focus.
Enemy in sight. Enemy target located. Enemy locked. Bogey on our 6. Bingo! Yahoo! Take off! Altitude too low. Fly!
Focus.
Up ahead! On our right! Bogey on our tail! Enemy target located. Bogey on our 6. Let's return to mission, buddy! I'm losing him! Enemy target located. Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Great shot! Don't let him get away! Back one! Enemy target located. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Bingo! Yahoo! Bogey on our 6. On our left. Up ahead. On our right. Up ahead. Jesus, miss! Stay with him. Wasted! Enemy target located.
Warning.
Missile approach.
Alert, body damage.
Dive!
Alert, body damage. Alert, body
Enemy
damage.
locked to take off.
Alert, body
On
damage.
our left.
Alert, body
Bogey on our
damage.
6. Bogey on our 6. On our right. Bogey on our 6. On our right. Take off.
Focus.
On our right. Enemy in sight. On our right. Enemy in sight. Up ahead. Enemy
Warning.
lost visual approaching. Dive. Dive. On our
Focus.
left. On our right. Bogey on our 6. Up ahead. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Wasted! Enemy target located. Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot him away! Enemy in sight. locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! Mission accomplished.
The enemy is on his last legs. One more strike should lay him out. Take your unit through the ravine to the enemy headquarters. Intelligence is sketchy on force composition near the headquarters, so keep on your toes. Fly low on your way in. Everything above the ravine is a SAM kill zone.
Ready? Break now! Enemy in front. Up ahead! Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! It's wasted! Enemy in front. Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! It's wasted! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Enemy locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Back one! Locked on target. Fire! Shoot it down! Shoot him away! Up ahead! Enemy in sight. Fire! Shoot it down! Shoot him away! Accomplished.
Urgent message. Enemy giant airborne fortress discovered. This may be your final task. Eliminate it before it reaches our airspace. Good luck.
Ready? Break now! Enemy in sight. Enemy targets located. Bogey on our tail! Enemy targets located. Up ahead! On our right!
Caution.
Enemy locked on target. Bogey on our tail! Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! Bingo! Yahoo! Bingo! Yahoo! Great shot!
Caution. Caution.
Enemy in sight.
Caution.
Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! Enemy in sight. Great shot! Great shot! Enemy locked on target. Bingo! Yahoo! Great shot! Great shot!
Caution.
Enemy in sight. Wingman has been hit.
Caution. Caution.
Enemy in sight.
Caution.
Enemy locked on
Caution.
target. Bingo!
Caution.
Yahoo!
Caution.
Enemy in sight. Great shot! Great shot! Great shot! Bingo! Yahoo!
Congratulations. The enemy has capitulated and the coup has failed. The rightful government has been restored to this peaceful country. Your skill as Top Guns changed the balance. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you.